Everyone is stick with us versus herd. If it's your first time here, let the content, hit subscribe. If you haven't yet subscribed to your new options trading live channel, the link is below in the description. And if you want to join the UvH fam, our community, links are below in the description as well to our Discord and our free options trading group on Facebook. If you made money today, comment below got paid. If you lost money today, comment learned a lesson. Crazy, crazy, I'm going to say unexpected day. We did know that the Fed was thinking about cutting rates, but I just didn't know. I didn't know when. Right now, I mean, the Dow closed down 800 points. Dow's up right now. Dow futures are up 337. S&P's up 35. NASDAQ is up 109. I mean, I barely made it out alive today. And looking at my P&L here, it's not showing my futures positions because those are already closed out. But I closed out a couple $100 to the good. I lost 197 on SPY, made 250 on Apple, and then I had an S&P call credit spread here. I sold two of the 3095 calls, bought two of the 3100 calls. So I had two vertical call spreads. I bought them for 280 and 275. I bought them back for both $1.20. So we made a little bit more. We made a little bit more than a 50% profit on that. So one thing that I will say about SPY. So SPY, I was trading the 417. I'm sorry, I was trading the 306 put. I bought it for 417. And if we look at this 306 put today, I mean, I bought it at what time? 8:45, so 15 minutes into market open here. I bought it, and right a few minutes later it spiked up like crazy. Let me just zoom in on this and let me look up that 306 put just so you can see what I was trading at. I was trading the which expiration? March 4th. So Wednesday I had the 306 put, man, closed at 751. So I took a pretty big loss on this, 50% loss. I mean, it was just wild. And if you guys haven't noticed, the option pricing, bid and the ask were wide all day, even on SPY. For SPY, the bid and the ask were. So I urge you, if you're trading, make sure you're trading liquid stocks and options because you can easily get screwed here. But what kind of caught me off guard is at 8:45, I bought it right here. It was going between 390 and 494. I got a fill at 420. Thought I got a good fill, but then shortly after at 9:02, I closed it out. So 17 minutes later, we saw a huge swing going from 450 all the way down to a penny, back up. And I wasn't freaking out, but I was like, man, what in the world? And then I got the alert that the Fed cut the rates, and I thought this had the potential because it went from 305 to 314 in just minutes. So it had the potential, I thought, to let me zoom out here a little bit, go up to 320, 325 area. I mean, I didn't know what was going on. And when you don't know what's going on, when you have a position to go against, you don't know what, when news like that screws up your position. I mean, we were in a serious downtrend. It looked like it was going to break down. As you can see, like right before that came out, we had a really nice downtrend. We had a breakdown to 305. I was thinking about taking profits. I was seeing what was going to happen at 305. It bounced up a little bit, but it was still in downtrend. And then the Fed news came out and really propped this up. Obviously, if I kept that put that I bought for 417, I would have been up money on, but I didn't know which direction it was going to go. It hit a low of 298. These hit a high of 964. I mean, the market was just wild. This trade was just wild, but that news screwed up my position, and I didn't want to go max loss on it. I didn't want to take a $400 loss on it. So when it came back around to 50%, I took the money and I redeployed it into Apple. And Apple, Apple was pretty crazy too because we had a huge dip at market open, and then the Fed news came out, propped it back up. But I felt like Apple was the easiest target. I traded the 300 strike put, Bought it for 535, sold it for 785. So nice 50% win is there as well. But if we look at this 300 put, I traded this week's expiration, and this one's actually going for $13, $12. I mean, just insane. I didn't expect that big of a sell-off off the Fed news, and I don't think the Fed did either. We're gonna be talking about the Fed more in a second here. So I bought it at 9:11 this morning Central Time. Paid $5.35 for it. So this was afterwards. I bought it. Got a pretty good price at 9:11. So right on this candle here, got a pretty good price, and then it was pretty much just stable, and then it ripped up all the way up to 963. I sold it on this candle I sold it literally 4 minutes later, as you can see here. So I bought it at 9:11, sold it at 9:15. So 4 minutes later, it increased 50%. I took my profits because I didn't know what was going on with the market. I lost money. I made money back immediately. Then I was pretty much back to break even for the day. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to take a break now. This market is a little too wild. I don't know which direction it's going to go. We just had the rate cuts. This could really fly, or it looks like it's going to give it back. And obviously it gave it back. I mean, this thing went, this Apple put up all the way up to like 1550. I sold it for 785, but I was grateful to make the money back. But if the lesson is, if there's news like this that screws up your position, you don't know which way it's going to go, exit. You can always re-enter. I exited, I re-entered, made some money back, and then when I knew which direction was going to go, I then shorted some calls on the S&P at 3095 and 3100, and the S&P futures at that time, they were up in here, and they were having some difficulty breaking out. So I saw that there was a wall here at like 3110. It wasn't breaking out, so I started scaling into a position. I put my first position on for 280. The second one was 275. I received a credit for, and then I bought them back for $1.20 when it came down here. And I did close them out end of day because I thought that this rip here, for looking here, this rip all the way up to 3080 could go back up to 3100, and I didn't want to take the chance. So I took profits. I could have probably let them expire worthless, but right now things are running, let's say. I mean, but right now up 3 points really means nothing. I mean, just wild. But getting into the Fed rate cut now, I was extremely surprised that they cut it by 50 basis points today and caught everyone off guard. I mean, we knew they were going to cut, but I just didn't think, we didn't know the time or the place. So you always that's why I've only been going in. Thankfully, I only had like one position I only had to manage. I've been telling people I've really been only putting on 1 to 2 positions at a time. Now is not the time to scale into 10, 12, 15 positions. I'm just keeping it small and trying to stay accurate, because if I had to adjust 10 positions when that was going on and I wasn't sure what was happening and screwed up all my positions, I would be in big trouble. Or maybe I wouldn't, because the market came back around and it would have made big profits. I mean, I'm glad I'm up a couple $100 a day. Could have been a big day, but the Fed day, I want to say Fed days, I don't really trade that well personally. It's tough, but going into the rate cut right now, so we're at 1% on here. We cut 50 basis points. But what I think is interesting about this chart here is we had emergency rate cut. The Fed is reacting, even though like right now in the U.S. it's not that bad, but apparently they're freaking out. And if they're freaking out, maybe we should be worried, about what this means globally. Obviously, they're getting some data in. We don't have all the data yet. We are going to get some numbers tomorrow with the employment report, market services, PMI. We're going to get the beige book, non-manufacturing index, and we have some other reports Thursday and Friday too. So reports are going to start coming out. The reports that are going to matter are the ones that come out next month, for the month of March, because this is when the coronavirus is kind of at the highest. We don't know how high it's going to go, but right now, a bunch of people are infected. Over 3,000 people are dead, and the situation is currently not getting better. But going back to the Fed rate cuts, we knew that there was a problem the Fed was having a problem because we just had 3 rate cuts in a row, and we were sitting at all-time highs. Didn't look like there was any trouble, and the Fed was continually to cut rates. I mean, we had a steady incline between 2017 and 2018, but we didn't hold it. You know, there was the trade war. Fed got nervous, started cutting rates, and then we have the emergency rate cut today due to the coronavirus and the Fed reacting to potential global slowdown, or maybe they're scared of recession. We don't really know. But as you can see in the past, how this has panned out, where we had a lot of increases and then the emergency rate cuts, how that happened. But right now, you know, if you look at the past emergency rate cuts, these were starting at like 5.25%, 5.5%. They had a lot of room to go. We don't have any room to go. We're at 1%. What's next is 0%. You know, where we're going to go 0.5%, 0%, and then go negative rates. So we need to, you know, the Fed cut really early, and I get they're kind of in a tight spot because, you know, could say, hey, if something bad happens, why didn't the Fed act earlier? And right now we're saying, hey, why did the Fed act too soon? Where do they see that we don't? And you know what? At the end of the day, nobody knows how the market's going to react to certain things. I mean, we could have flew off the handle. Things could have went nuts. We could have went back to all-time highs. I mean, who knows what could have happened? But that's not what happened. Dow closed down 800 points because it seems like the Fed is nervous. So right now, what we want to do is just be cautious. You know, going into tomorrow, I don't have any positions on right now. I'm all cash, so I'm just kind of sitting on the sidelines, seeing what's going to happen. I'm mainly trading the S&Ps. I'll probably trade Apple, Netflix. Home Depot was looking pretty good today as well. Home Depot, that sold off. It popped up from 228 to 235 and then dropped. So, you know, I think tomorrow is going to be a pretty interesting day. If we gap up green and fade red, or if we have a green day, you know, just be mindful that this is not over yet. You know, VIX is at 36. We can have big green days. We can have big red days as well. So, you know, you just want to be mindful. You want to be careful. At least we have the rate cut out of the way, and you know, we're going to see how the market reacts. It should be clear skies ahead for the most part, besides the choppiness and what's going on. You know, obviously the coronavirus news can derail things quite a bit, so we just want to be careful. You know, let me know if you guys watch this video to the end. Comment watch to the end. Hit the like button. I appreciate it. And as always, stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.